Hi, this is Sarah, and I'm excited today to be talking to Louise Harms on Sharing Bravely into 2021. So, Louise, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about you, kind of where you were born, what you do, what's important to you?
So I'm Louise, and I was born on Sri Lanka, and I got adopted to another island called Hisingen. It's in Sweden, very different from Sri Lanka, but also very nice. And I grew up there, but I live in Berlin since 2007. And important to me is humanity, living, family, and that people feel good. I want more of that.
Very cool. Yeah, it just makes me smile because Louise and I met probably about a year and a half ago, and we were chatting about a few things. I just happened to mention that my kids were adopted. We kind of connected on this level that obviously this is what Louise has been through and what I'm going through with my kids. It's actually really interesting to meet someone on kind of the other side of it. And it just kind of reminded me as you brought up your story again that, oh yeah, that's a big part of who you are, I guess. But tell us a little bit more about you. How would you describe yourself in a way so that listeners could really get to know you?
One could say that I'm a bit of a spiritual science nerd. I really like science. I really think there are a lot of good stuff out there in science that can support us as humans. And I'm also spiritual in the sense that I really feel like the true guidance in all of us is just following what makes us happy, doing what feels meaningful and purposeful. And so that's like that, this mix of who I am. But I also like really into nature, into animals, dogs, love dogs, and trying to create a society that is more human friendly. That's my mission.
More, what do you mean by human friendly?
Well, I think like the society that we have today, I think it's in so many senses like bullying us, not necessarily because it's evil, but it's just so fast and everything goes like bam, bam, bam at us, social media, television, commercials, and just for our brain to keep sane and keep us safe, we do this stereotyping, we label things and we put them into boxes. And it just kind of goes in a way that we become more and more in these boxes and these stereotypes. So becoming and living authentically becomes even harder. And this is what I kind of mean with being like more human friendly, that we can allow ourselves to be who we are, that we allow ours and accept ours and not others, and not just think that they have to be what this picture in our brain is, and that we can challenge, give the space to challenge these already constructed theses we have. And that's hard today because it's so fast, everything. So like we have to take this space and take this time to be a little bit still, and that is little room for that now. So that's also what I mean with being more human friendly, with just having a little bit of stillness around so we can take that in.
Okay, so I'm hearing like this space, creating space for connection with ourselves, but also with other people, actually creating kind of meaningful connections that help us as humans to, belong.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got a couple of businesses going on, and I love the name of the Super Grateful one. That to me was always just made me chuckle. But tell us a bit more about what you're doing and why.
Well, I like, originally I'm like mindfulness mentor, and going into all of that area, which is still very in a label of spiritual and yoga and clean eating and all of that. So usually I also say that I'm a self-awareness coach, but because that's what it's kind of all about, you know. So we always start at self-awareness and work with that, and then at some point we come to the points where we find these little hardships where people are struggling with their self-acceptance and self-love, And then we open the door to the mindfulness part, because that's kind of all inclusive in that one. So that's what I'm doing, like helping people find these space and allowing themselves to grow this acceptance for themselves and for more self-love, and which is for me the key to a better planet as a whole.
Okay, yeah, I love the fact you're making the link between kind of sustainability and us understanding ourselves as humans. But why is that? Why is it important to you what you do?
I just think it's really fun. I think it's so fun, and it's just brings me so much meaning to do it. And I do believe that like to get to this point where we talk about sustainability and the planet, we really have to help people on an individual level first to get like in touch with themselves and find this acceptance, because so many people I talk to, they're totally busy in their head, just figuring out how to get through the day, like keeping a straight face and being like, happy and finding happiness. So how do we expect them to make choices that are sustainable? And, so that's why I think we have to start with the whole, I always say everything is an inside job. And I think that if we if we start with people, humans, we can get there, because there's so much power in that, just getting people to get in touch with themselves and feel like that they have something to give, because I truly believe that we all do have something to share and give.
I think this is the most basic line on which Louise and I agree on, is, helping people grow is like the potential, but grow in the way that's meaningful for them. And that's what I'm hearing from you, is this helping people actually uncover, who am I, what do I want, and how do I create that? Like these little moments of joy that actually bring us this happiness. So when you talk about that, it's obviously around nurturing people and giving other people space, but what nurtures you?
A lot of things, but nature, totally. Like nature is so important, and just having this peace and quiet, alone time, stillness, possibly with my dog, like that I just enjoy so much. And also just seeing that my work, like seeing other people grow through the work I do. I think that's because growing for me is so important, but seeing that something I do to someone else can help them grow is like, wow, oh my God, I love that. That's almost like addictive. And just also to my other business that is more of a wine drinking sort of business, I guess, like this moment when I can just sit down and enjoy a good glass of wine is also very nurturing. I think like it's so simple, but it takes me to so many nice places, just the smell and the senses getting in there. So wine, totally love it.
Okay, so they're all kind of what you're expressing is all the things about being in the moment and kind of being present with what's going on, be that with your work and being nourished there, or actually taking moments out either in nature or with wine. It's about kind of the senses experiencing. That's really cool.
Yeah, well, I think like a lot of us, we were so fast going, we're just doing things as a task. We're not really thinking of doing them mindfully or like being present while doing them, but there's so many things we can just activate there by being more present, like in our senses, like smelling and tasting and feeling. It's there. That's our keys to the present moment, basically. So getting to use them more is just such a simple trick that can help one get more aware of the present moment and of oneself and what one likes, and starts this whole catalysis reaction of getting more to know yourself.
So it sounds like you're on your own journey, but where are you potentially still too hard on yourself, or where can you maybe not laugh at yourself?
I try to laugh a lot, and sometimes I think I can always, but in the moment, I have two children. I have two small children. They're 4 and 2. And I think that this is still a lot of the programming that one has, a lot of pressure as a mom, then mom having a business, there's a lot of things there where it's simple to slip into these old worn out I am not enough shoes. So I think that's the place where I can also feel like, okay, I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, really, because it's having children is such a journey, like emotionally, like the power you have, like sometimes it isn't kind of enough, but you're doing your best, and that's like what you have to always tell yourself, that you're doing your best, but maybe it won't be enough, but that's then okay, so that's sometimes where I need to.
So how does it feel sometimes when you're feeling in that moment of, am I enough as a mother? Am I enough as a business owner? Am I doing enough? How do you help yourself through that?
Well, I have done some hypnosis to help me do that. I have an anchor that helps me, and I can really recommend that, because you sometimes really just have to have something taking you back there, that, because we have this mechanism in us that, like, this 90-second rule that like when a feeling comes over us, the chemical reaction of that feeling in our brain and in our body lasts for 90 seconds and no longer. And if we just sit it out and let it happen, accept it, and just let it go, it will let go of itself. If it keeps on going, it is our brain that is connected into that emotion and starts supporting it in going. So like the knowledge of that, but then also just simply repeating to myself that I am enough, because we are all enough the way we are. I mean, we are like meant to support and help children on their journey, all of us, and that's just how it is. So but then we're also living in very strange circumstances, like Corona didn't help, no kindergarten for forever, ever. And like everything is very family centered, where I think that children actually need more input maybe than just the two parents. And of course, then it gets to these moments where everyone gets crazy because it's just too little input from other sources. So then that's again then to something to be aware of and look where you can find from other sources to support you.
So I think that's really interesting. And this "I am enough," this is actually one of the phrases that I've got, or the confirmations that I have that I use in my diary as well, is actually, as I am today, I am enough. And it's something that I didn't grow up recognizing. It's something that I, like you said, it helps to kind of keep reinforcing that actually, as we are today, we're enough. And yes, stuff happens, and yes, the world gets crazy around us, and it's about trusting ourselves to deal with it. And also, like you're saying, which I love, is letting the emotions pass or letting the feelings go. Because I hadn't heard this 90-second rule, but I totally recognize it. Is if we let things just pass and be, and if we can stop the stories that I so often see with people that I work with, and also with myself, stop interpreting it and stop putting layers and layers of stories against it, we can learn to just live and let it go. Then it really helps in terms of maintaining that balance that I think so many of us are seeking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I also love that phrase. It's one of the best ones. It should be everywhere on on the billboards and like tags, graffiti all over the place. I would love that.
So what's the kind of, obviously you've been on your own journey in the last since you were born. But what is the one thing that you kind of wish you'd have known maybe 12 months ago? What's the thing that's helped you the most? What's that piece of learning?
I think I think there's probably so much there that when we're really past all this, it will be so much there that one will recognize. Like, I mean, I started my business in the middle of everything now, and I think if I would have known how much bureaucracy it is to start a business and not having kindergarten, so like balancing that and having little time. But then I know, like, if I would have known that, I probably wouldn't have founded a company. So all good in the end. So I don't know. I just think I think I even learned even better to try to be grateful for everything that is, like for health, for my health. Yeah, like say thank you for being healthy every day. Like I think that is something I will always acknowledge much more than I did before.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think you bring up a point which nearly everyone I speak to brings up, to say, actually, you don't know what journey you're going to go on when you found a company. You couldn't have known that kids would end up at home. You couldn't have foreseen this. And yet you kind of sit here sometimes and think, well, if I'd known all that, maybe I wouldn't have done it. But at the same time, it's part of your story in terms of what you've now created for yourself and what you've managed to build. And I hear almost the proud from yourself to say, I'm actually proud of myself being able to do it despite all these things happening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm because I'm doing what I really want to do, and I'm really happy, and I think that is something one can always be proud of.
So what's your wish for yourself for this year? If you could wish for something to manifest itself before the end of the year, what would it be?
Well, like spontaneously, like thinking back to like now health and like that whatever happens now in the future will enable me to keep my cup full so I can keep serving others. Like, I mean, that's such a, like that is abundance for me to have that, you know, that I can help. And that's really not something one can take for granted. So yeah, just keep healthy, and like then my immediate surroundings healthy, and yeah, that's what I wish for.
Okay, and if you widen that out to the planet, what is your wish for the planet this year?
More mindfulness. Well, like I really believe like that, like the true revolution that we need is an inner one, like back to the everything being an inside job. And I really hope that a lot of people will take the moment to go within and check their own, become more self-aware, see what struggles they actually have, what traumas they have to heal from. Because there's like when I look out and talk to people, like many people might say that they're happy and they're good, but there's still so many areas there of healing necessary that comes from generation to generation, because we created this society that's really not allowing us to be authentic, but more telling us to be very much the same. And yeah, so that is what I hope for the planet. And I think when we get there and people work with themselves, get to the point where they accept themselves, love themselves, this is also what they will reflect. And then I think everything will kind of roller coaster change by itself. Because like, I mean, we've seen now that politics won't really help us and support us, and politics is kind of just a reflection of who we are now. So like if we can get there to a place where we can reflect more authentically what we wish, then that will also happen. That will be the ultimate manifestation of us humans when we're in that place of authenticity.
I mean, my take on it is slightly different, but really similar vein, in the fact that I don't think we can have difficult or courageous conversations about actually what matters without understanding ourselves. And so, you know, we're actually, by not being able to voice what's important to us and not being able to have those kind of deeper discussions, we actually are going to struggle to unlock it's not about technology. I think we've got all the technology around us that we need, but it's around being able to unlock people so that they can say what they think and what they feel, what's important to them, and then kind of be open to listening to others. And this is kind of what I'm hearing from you, is this like being able to unlock society to actually ask for what we need to be able to grow and to be able to create that more sustainable life for our kids or future generations, whatever it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
So what has helped you on your journey? If you were going to kind of come in and recommend one, I don't know, a saying or a podcast or a book or something that's really helped you in taking the courage to kind of stand up for what it is you want and do what you want, follow, like you're saying, I'm doing what I love. So what's helped you on that journey?
Well, I truly believe that we have to take responsibility. Responsibility is so important in every sense. And like, if we actually live the lives and our utopia, if we live our utopia, it is actually gonna happen, or we're taking the necessary steps to get there. And so that is like my key learning is actually just always try to be the change I want to see, and to live that as much as possible. Like for instance, now, like sharing everything that I can as much as possible, because I believe that if we start sharing on another level, we don't know, all of us have to buy new things, and we can experience so much. It will bring more connection, it will bring more acceptance and understanding, and it will make people more eager to connecting with each other, because we're helping each other out in that sense, which I think is a very human way of living, and they will save us so much trouble from this production industrial society that we have, that is just creating garbage all over the place. So yeah, live your utopia.
I'm laughing a lot because one of the posts I did probably about 2 months ago was like, be the change you want to see in the world, take one step towards it. But there's so much linking back between this, like knowing yourself, being yourself, knowing what you want, being able to kind of show up as yourself, and how you can live more sustainably. You keep on bringing these two together. And I find it really interesting, because I think there's not too many places where you see this kind of coming together so clearly as the way your view on the world is. So I find it quite inspiring to kind of hear you talking about it, and like framing it slightly differently each time, but actually bringing this out as like this real interconnection. We can't be more sustainable unless we understand ourselves, unless we can show up as who we really are, and unless we can take responsibility for how we're showing up.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Cool. Well, thank you very much for sharing your ideas with us. I'm sure there are going to be lots of people who are interested to get in touch with you, so I'll put your details down below, and they can connect with you. But is there one last thing you'd like to kind of share with the listeners, as what's something you want to?
Well, first of all, thank you, Sarah, for the interview. I love this format that you're doing. I really think it's amazing. I love your work as well. I think it's so cool that you went from the more science industrial place, and also got more into self-awareness and the human aspect of putting these two pieces together. And yeah, the last thing I would say is probably follow the joy. I think that is just like, it helps you with your self-love, and it helps with so much more. So it's just like, try to implement more joyful activities, or just take the time with your lunch, actually sit down and taste it and eat it, and like doing things a bit more slow. That is maybe would be my final words. And enjoy life. It's so short. Come on.
Enjoy life. No, definitely. I think we can all do more of enjoying life. always the opportunity. So thank you very much, Louise. It was great to see you, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.